Now, the human body makes a lot of byproducts whenever it is functioning. One of them is creatinine. It it can seem confusing with creatine, and honestly, they do have a connection. Let's talk about creatinine. Why is it so important, and how does it affect the human body? This is the Dr. Washbrains podcast. My name is Dr. Akash Sehgil. Let's dive in. Now, creatinine is a waste product formed from the normal metabolism of creatine, which is an amino acid derivative which is crucial for energy production in muscle cells. Creatine undergoes a spontaneous conversion to creatinine in the body, a process that occurs continuously and very predictably. This molecule is then transported via the bloodstream to the kidneys, where it is filtered out and excreted in urine. Because of the conversion of creatine into creatinine is continuous in the human body, it makes creatinine an excellent biomarker for evaluating kidney function. High or low levels of creatinine in blood or urine can indicate various health conditions, particularly those affecting the kidneys. Now, the significance of creatinine stems from its predictability. Under normal circumstances, the amount of creatinine produced is relatively constant, depending largely on muscle mass. For for this particular reason, deviations in creatinine levels often point to changes in kidney function or systemic health rather than fluctuations in its production. Understanding this molecular constancy gives clinicians a reliable baseline for comparison. To understand creatinine, we need to first explore its precursor, creatine. Now, creatine is synthesized primarily in the liver, kidneys, and the pancreas from the reaction between the amino acids arginine, glycine, and methionine. Once synthesized, creatine is transported to muscle tissues where it plays a vital role in the phosphocreatine energy system. This system provides a rapid source of ATP, the body's primary energy currency, during short bursts of high intensity activity. Within muscle cells, creatine exists in equilibrium with phosphocreatine. Over time, a small percentage of creatine spontaneously converts into creatinine. This reaction is non enzymatic and occurs at a very constant rate proportional to the muscle mass of an individual. Once formed, creatinine is released into the bloodstream and carried to the kidneys for excretion. This steady biochemical process underscores why creatinine is such a reliable marker for metabolic and kidney health. Now, creatinine levels in blood and urine can vary based on several factors. Men generally have higher creatinine levels than women due to greater muscle mass. Similarly, levels tend to decline with age as muscle mass decreases. This age related decline can sometimes mask kidney dysfunction in older individuals, necessitating more sensitive diagnostic tools. High protein diets or supplementation with creatine can transiently increase creatinine levels. Plant based diets, on the other hand, may slightly lower levels due to reduced creatine intake. These dietary influences emphasize the importance of contextualizing lab results within a patient's lifestyle. Now, intense exercise can temporarily elevate creatinine levels due to increased muscle metabolism. This rise is typically short lived and not indicative of kidney dysfunction, but should be accounted for whenever interpreting test results. Various conditions can affect creatinine levels. For example, kidney disease, dehydration, or acute muscle injury can elevate levels. Conversely, conditions associated with reduced muscle mass, such as advanced liver disease or malnutrition, can lower them. Certain drugs, such as NSAIDs, your regular painkillers, ACE inhibitors, or diuretics, can impact creatinine levels by altering kidney function or muscle metabolism. These interactions highlight the need for a comprehensive medication review during evaluation. Now, the primary clinical use of creatinine is as a marker for kidney function. The kidneys filter creatinine out of the bloodstream and excrete it in the urine. Therefore, measuring blood creatinine levels can provide valuable insights into how well the kidneys are functioning. Two key diagnostic tools, glomerular filtration rate or the GFR and creatinine clearance, rely on creatinine measurements. GFR is a measure of how effectively the kidneys are filtering blood. It is estimated using equations that include serum creatinine levels, age, sex, and sometimes even race. A decreased GFR can indicate impaired kidney function, which may result from conditions like chronic kidney disease. Now, the creatinine clearance test measures the amount of creatinine cleared from the blood over a specific period, typically 24 hours. It involves both blood and urine samples, providing a more direct assessment of kidney filtration efficiency, although less commonly performed today due to the convenience of estimated GFR. Now, elevated blood creatinine levels often signal reduced kidney function. However, it is essential to interpret these levels in context, as other factors like dehydration, increased protein intake, or acute muscle injury can also affect creatinine levels. Clinical correlation and additional tests such as imaging or biopsies may be necessary for a definitive diagnosis around the kidneys. Diagnostic serum creatinine or creatinine levels in your blood are used to determine renal function. The reference range is around zero point 0.6 to 1.3 milligrams per deciliter or 53 to 115 micromole per liter. It is simple to measure serum creatinine and it is the most commonly used indicator of renal function. Males approximately produce 150 micromole to 200 micromole of creatinine per kilogram of body weight per 24 hours, while females produce approximately 100 micromole per kilogram to 150 micromole per kilogram in 24 hours. In normal circumstances, all the creatinine produced is excreted in the urine. Now, several health conditions can influence creatinine levels. Chronic kidney disease is characterized by a gradual loss of kidney function. Elevated creatinine levels are one of the earliest and most reliable indicators of this condition. Management involves controlling risk factors like hypertension and diabetes, optimizing hydration, and sometimes initiating medications such as ACE inhibitors or ARBs to slow disease progression. Both diabetes and hypertension can damage the kidneys over time, leading to increased creatinine levels. Monitoring creatinine is crucial for early detection and management of diabetic or hypertensive nephropathy. Lifestyle modifications, glycemic control, and blood pressure management are key interventions. Now, rhabdomyolysis is a condition which involves the breakdown of muscle tissue, leading to a surge in creatinine production and potential kidney damage if not treated promptly. Treatment typically includes aggressive hydration to prevent kidney injury. Dehydration can falsely elevate creatinine levels by reducing kidney perfusion. Adequate rehydration often normalizes levels and improves kidney function. Now, managing elevated creatinine levels requires addressing the underlying cause. Now, developing strategies in chronic kidney diseases to include controlling blood pressure and blood sugar. Dietary modifications are of prime importance over here to reduce protein load and avoiding nephrotoxic substances. Rehydration with oral or IV fluids restores kidney perfusion and lowers serum creatinine levels. For rhabdomyolysis, prompt fluid resuscitation and monitoring prevent kidney damage from excessive myoglobin and creatinine. Adjusting or discontinuing nephrotoxic drugs can alleviate kidney stress and normalize creatinine levels. In the realm of sports science, creatinine has garnered attention due to its connection to creatine supplementation. Athletes and bodybuilders frequently use creatine to enhance performance and muscle growth. While supplementation increases total creatine stores in muscles, it also leads to a slight rise in blood creatinine levels. Importantly, this rise does not reflect kidney damage in healthy individuals, but rather the expected metabolic byproduct of increased creatine intake. Moreover, creatinine measurements can help monitor training intensity and recovery in athletes. Elevated levels post exercise may indicate muscle stress or insufficient recovery, providing valuable insights for optimizing performance. Understanding these nuances ensures that athletes and clinicians do not misinterpret temporary changes in creatinine as pathological. Despite its importance, creatinine is often misunderstood. One common misconception is that elevated creatinine levels always indicate kidney damage. In reality, temporary increases can result from factors like dehydration, high protein diets, or strenuous exercise. Similarly, concerns about creatine supplementation causing kidney damage have been largely debunked by research. Studies, including those published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, have consistently shown that creatine supplementation is safe for healthy individuals even with long term use. In, in summary, creatinine is far more than a simple waste product. It is a vital biomarker for kidney health, a tool for understanding muscle metabolism, and a window into broader aspect of human physiology. By understanding the factors that influence creatinine levels and interpreting them in the right context, we can gain invaluable insights into health, performance, and disease. Emerging research continues to shed light on this molecule, promising new applications and deeper understanding in the years to come. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you found this discussion insightful, be sure to share it with others who are passionate about health and science. You were listening to the Dr. Washwain's podcast. I am Dr. Akash Sehgal. Thank you for making health a dinner table conversation.